Welcoming you back to crypto's juiciest news, baby dolls. Bitcoin, crypto, it's crashing. It's trash. Not gonna lie, it is absolute garbage. Bitcoin, unfortunately, looks like it's gonna finish red on the weekly SuperTrend. We're gonna go through. I'm just gonna show you what that means. Price action garbage. It is Bitcoin. I don't want to jinx it. Right before, friends, as this weekend for America, as it's like concluding, a big player has just come out of nowhere and they just started selling Ethereum and they sent it through the lows. We're going to speak about, Bitcoin, the SuperTrend stuff. We're going to speak about the Q4 for Bitcoin. It's the current price return of Bitcoin right now is actually worse than our 2022 FTX bear market. I'm not joking. It's actually a worse number. Can you believe it? It's actually worse than Q4 2022. The quarter that FTX literally blew up, man. I can't believe it. And 2019's Q4 as well. We're going to speak about the US Fed rate cuts, their odds. Japan, are they going to stimulate us? All of that coming your way and more. Even Michael Saylor buying BTC. I'm just going to show you what it's looking like. It's going to look really trash. Here is Bitcoin. Whatever, 94. Every time we look at it, it's just going lower and lower and lower and lower and lower. Where are you going to go to zero? Bitcoin is trash. Friends, I know a lot of people will come out and they say, hey, what are you worrying about? What are you worrying about? Dude, I don't know if you get it. A lot of the retardios with not only just zero empathy, but you scum, you don't know how to read a room. Let me tell you something. 90% of the people that you onboarded and that you all speak to, not talking to you guys, talking about all the KOLs and just people who think they're like 6 CUNTs, okay? Listen here, you subhuman filth scum. Everybody you onboarded is long Bitcoin from about 50K, bro. And that's if they're even in Bitcoin, okay? And that is from literally 2021. So these people, you're like, wow, here's my life changing. 96% return in 5 years. But remember, you didn't tell them to put 1.8 million and get you 96% in 2 years. Most likely what they did was they put in like, hey, I'll put like, a couple $100, a couple $1,000, depending on where you are in the world. And they went into altcoins and the altcoins are ravaged down 90%. Okay? That's what it is. So when people see the painful monthly candle of Bitcoin going down, that's their hopes and dreams of the risk curve disintegrating. Okay, so that's why you also find a lot of people will come out and that's because they don't know how to read the room. They'll come out and they say, oh, but if you bought Bitcoin 38 years ago before they invented the Super Nintendo, I mean, you'd be up. It's just, it is what it is. And it's funny, the people who are talking about it as well, most of them, they got only onboarded because Bitcoin went up like its first 10,000x. It's funny. And now they're like, oh, I'm allowed to come for the 10,000x, but you're an idiot. You're greedy if you come for the 10,000x or the big returns of Bitcoin. Hypocrisy, friends. But that's why, while we go through this, why I just share it with you is so just people just talk crap and they don't mean anything, okay? This is Ethereum, poopy price, right back into this wedge. What a freaking scam, bro. How many times do you want to just scam, dude? I just don't get it. Like, just every line up and then down. Doesn't matter how big it is, but I guess if you did that swing trade, you're like stopped out. This is Bitcoin on the short-term price action. Looks horrible, but here's the thing, friends. Look, even though it looks trash, if we ever see 100, friends, even if we do like 108, 110, this means nothing. It literally means nothing. It is a standard retracement, okay? Actually, before Bitcoin dropped, even in 2022, even in its bear markets, it will come back right around to a 50% mark around here. So Bitcoin, in the past, even before it goes to zero, could come back to like 108, 109 here. It could. And that doesn't mean it's over. I mean, like, the pain is, it could do that, dude. I'm just not going to lie. I'm just showing you that's what it's done before. It comes back to that 50% retrace and smackdown. Okay. That's exactly, it came back to exactly the 50% retrace back at the, in 2022. And it was, I've shown it for you before. I'll just bring it up for you. It's around April 2022. It's kind of funny. And yes, Jim Cramer, he called, I'm not making this up. Jim Cramer, friends, right here said Ethereum is going to do a fast 40% move upwards. He expected, so that's Ethereum back to, so he believed Ethereum was going up here, and then Ethereum and Bitcoin went down pretty much 40%. I'm not joking. It was literally, Ethereum was like 3,200, I think, there. He goes, oh, it's going to do a fast 40% move up, rally, and then guess what? I did a fast 40% move down. Not joking. So this is it. This is literally, this when remember I talked to you about the retrace? If Bitcoin's in that retrace, look, it comes around the 50% part, and then it just started, okay? Because look, it flips red on the weekly super trend, comes up here, and then this was Do Kwon, friends. Do Kwon bought, and there were predators, FTX, jump trading. I don't know who they were, so the predators out there. I forgot, I think it was Wintermute, actually. And then we ended up finding out Wintermute, in court, it was revealed, they were part of the reason, they were the main reason that destroyed Luna. They helped send it to zero. Wintermute. Okay, so yeah, that's why they come in here and they just start. Pretty much all the pain starts. Also, what happened here, friends? This was Russia-Ukraine war stuff, and then eventually the tiny relief came in and bang, it was literally all over. Okay, but in this time period, the US Fed announced here they're doing QT. They're starting QT, so their balance sheet looked like that, and their balance sheet literally starts to look like this. So the market was like pricing it in. That's what the balance sheet looked like, right? But now, like, they said they're stopping QT. So the balance sheet looks like this. It's going sideways now. But we'll see. We'll see how it all plays out. Because obviously the elephant in the room, and elephants are cute, friends. I'd love to pat an elephant one day. We are red on the weekly super trend. Pretty much no chance of confirming it. It is a believer cycle. I still believe. I'll believe into the very last minute. And proof of candle lighting. I am going to light the candle as well. Just for you and me out here, this is what it comes down to. So, in the past, friends, yes, for the closing, remember, because it's default setting, it's 3 times the ATR of the average range, okay? Of course, friends, these are indicators, man. Indicators can break, they can break all the time, doesn't matter, okay? But just like historically, red weekly super trend, what does it mean in the past? Well, you know, you had a fake out here. Literally, it was a fake out, okay? So, if you get out on a red weekly super trend and you stay short, you miss out. Bitcoin going 96, 98%. And then on the second time, it does a real one. Okay? So, look, if you... I'm not even going to bother. I don't want to jinx anything, but, you know, is it possible that this happens? And then when it flips red again, it peaks, you know, in 175 days, and then it flips red 231 days. Yeah, it could always happen. Whatever. Where would 175 days take us? That would be peaking next year, May. And then it flips red again. It could be that as well. That was pretty much a fake out one. There was a one before it as well. This was in 2019. We had a short, very, very sharp rally. Bitcoin goes up 4x, and then it comes back here, or 3.5x. And then look at this, it does this garbage, okay? And obviously zombie virus came here. But, you know, even in a world, maybe zombie virus didn't have to come, but it would still be garbage, okay? So if you look at this, from when it goes red until when you feel good again, actually, wow, green. So this is when it was right here. That's 300 days. So that was the last time. I'm not even showing you the start of the bear market. I'm just saying, oh, it just went garbage 300 days. That is, yeah, 10 months. Jeez, man. So what would that mean? When would you feel good? By, geez, next year, September. Gosh. After that track. I don't dictate the future. Okay, I don't dictate the future. I don't know. Obviously, this is red weekly super trend. Just the start of everything pooping. There were many close points in this 2017 cycle. They were very close. And here's the thing, friends. Let's say they did even close on the bottom here. The next week was a big reversal. Okay, a lot of that. You see this big green weekly candle. It engulfs it. It engulfs it. All right, so when they were rescued, look at this. It came close. Next week, it engulfed the whole candle. Okay, so even if, let's say, close points and touches, it has to engulf the whole candle. But even look at this. This one engulfed the whole candles all over. But then, you know, Bitcoin did a very fast, you know, 12x in just like 2 months as well. And look at this as well. It engulfs the whole candle. So, I mean, it is with even like, it's unquestionable if anything's going to be saved. And I don't even like talking like this. Anything's going to be saved. Like, it's just, whatever. It's just, doesn't sound nice. Oh, if anything's going to be saved. You'd literally next week have to see some candle take Bitcoin from wherever the hell this stops, from 94 back up to 106. It's done it before. I don't know. We'll see. I very, very low odds. I want to quickly update you as well. Just a reminder, the Bitcoin dominance is still weak. Okay, it is still weak as we move around here. Bitcoin dominance, that's what weird part of this price action. Weird, but it's not really weird. It's just that altcoins have been weak so much. Now that Bitcoin is turning from strong to weak, this is the OTHERS-btc on the monthly, altcoins are strong. Okay, that's why it's making everyone question stuff. Obviously, this white line is US Fed balance sheet. Last time they stopped the QT, it was the bottom. And yeah, fans, it did. I just want to tell you something. Like, even though we're living this right now, do not think for a second there were signs saying, oh yeah, definitely buy altcoins all the way back here when they stopped QT. Absolutely not. Okay, it was literally no. Friends, right here, like it looked horrendous. August 2019, Sep 2019, October 2019, it looked garbage. Bitcoin price actually, it was sideways. Like it was no. It did not look good. But it looked back on the chart, you go, oh wow, that was actually the best months. All right, I'm still holding. I don't see any point. Personally, this is just me. Okay, I'm not selling after 4 years of going down. Personally, of OTHERS-btc on this ratio, I'm not. And a lot of people say, but Sammy, but for the ratio to go up, doesn't Bitcoin have to like do big moves up? And then it rotates into Bitcoin. Here's the thing, friends. When you look at ratios, because you don't know how the legs are going to play out. Others and BTC, you think That's why a lot of people say, oh, others can only go up if Bitcoin goes up and stuff. I know that's people's preconceived notions, but the whole reason you look at a ratio is that it's easier to determine relative value of the spread rather than guessing if everything is going to go up or down. Okay, like you don't know, man. You don't know. In the next 3 months, Bitcoin could literally be a sideways price, and maybe Ethereum's up at like 3,900 or something. I'm just giving you an example out here. Obviously, hope we do better. Here we have the global liquidity fractal falling into pieces. Everything crumbling out here. We have Raoul Pal and stuff coming out here. I'll cover this again in Yummy Update, friends. But I'm like, here we go again. I've made this post as well. Here's Raoul Pal with an essay. I think this week the Fed's hand will be forced to tweak the plumbing to avoid a month-end, year-end funding crisis. He goes, it's clear the US Fed is concerned, hence the meeting with the banks and New York Fed to understand why the SRF isn't being tapped enough to resolve this. The fear from the markets and the Fed is rising. So we're just like, oh gosh, here we go again. Like, oh, just... Yeah, here we go, and that's exactly how we all feel. All right, whatever, man. It's just trash. This is Ethereum out here, still hanging around this low, friend. So what they've done is, obviously, someone's come in. They just sent everything just through the lows. Okay, either out of fear or manipulation, whatever it is. They're just like, oh, I'm scared of the week. I'm just going to send everything through the lows just to see what happens. It's very common, right? To just send it through. And we do have CME gaps now for Bitcoin as well. So we have a little bit of a CME gap over the weekend. And I'll just show it to you. So Bitcoin has finished 94,365. Okay. It does have a gap, friends. So a lot of people are looking at 91,800. Is that, I wonder, people are just wondering, is that what's going to happen? Where US Fed does nothing and then they're going to have to, and then they're like, okay, we'll do the printing again. I don't know. But this is not, no one's expecting it to stop here at all. Like everybody who's bearish expects Bitcoin to go below 75 and come down here. That's what everyone's saying. Even 75, 60. Everyone thinks it's totally over. But, I don't know. I thought it'd get better by now. I thought the economy would turn around by now. Didn't think we'd be wasting all our time after all these years. But it is what it is, man. Can't do anything about it. There are people, if you want, you could always click sell. You can click sell and leave. I'm just holding. Yeah. What I've noticed as well, a lot of you, not just you, a lot of people out there from the crowd, when they come across any KOL, right? The KOL's like, look, there's this and that, and there's Tom Lee, and there's liquidity, and then everyone's just like, can you just admit? That's why everyone's fans. I know that's why I love you and you love me. Everyone, you always say to all the KOLs, they're like, can you just admit it's been trash? Just admit it hasn't gone to plan. And it's being trash. And they don't want to admit stuff like that. Or they just generally don't think so. Or they've had a good grip on the way. But yeah, man, I'll tell you, friends, I just, look, obviously, that's why I show you, the PMI. I'm like, yeah, man, I had zero expectations to get Black Swan for 36 months, okay? That's that's literally average stock market drop is 6 months. Average stock market drop is, let's say it's 6 months to find the bottom, and then everyone in the market, I'm like, okay, what about 2.5 years later, you're still making new lows? Yeah. 2.5 years later. What do you think stock market people, they jump out of a window if you drop 2%. Literally, they drop 2%. And I'm telling you, hey, you're still making new lows 2.5 years later. You can imagine everyone's completely lost their minds. You know, but that's just what it is. Stock market dudes would be like, no, but we have value. We have value. Dude, market doesn't care, dude. It's just, you're trading emotions of people moving in and out of money and liquidity and ownership and not owning stuff. It doesn't matter how much value you think you have, right? Nothing stops you from these. It's just markets, man. So I've given you the technical outlook. Of course, looks garbage. Bitcoin weekly super trend. Yeah, worst case, add another 12 months to find the bottom. Yeah, we find the bottom in November 2026. That's worst case. From the past, best cases, the absolute best case. I'm not going to bother entertaining such a stupidly low odds of us getting this time, but like we need next week's candle to engulf and go back to 106. Well, I mean, crazy. It has happened before, but whatever. We'll just leave it on there. Okay, in the 1% miracle, I've lit the candle. Okay, but on average, it was like what, 3 to 12 months of just trash, and that's Bitcoin. Okay, so, but even though I think that's going to happen. Think based off, that's everyone, right? You look at the charts, you see some stuff out here. Just because we think that or we see that, it doesn't necessarily mean it's going to still play out. Okay, but I just don't like talking like that because then you know everything by now, fans. It just feels like let's play some angel music. It feels like the hope and the cope, didn't get better at all. Now you hope it gets, yeah, whatever. What do you do? I'm not getting out. I'm not selling down 99% lows. Just because everyone's saying, oh, don't worry, it's definitely going to go another down 99%. I don't do that. Okay, that's not my game. I'm always thinking of the future. I'm thinking, I honestly, friends, I'd love to, in this seat, tell you it's definitely going to be amazing in 12 months from now. But I'm not, I don't know that. Dude, it's been getting worse every day for 5 years. I mean, why would I get better at this rate? So, I don't know. But, yeah, that's what I guess we're hoping for. I'm hoping for at some point in the next 15 years, it's slightly better. Okay, that's what we're just hoping for. Okay, I'm not getting out just because I think next year's going to be bad. I just want to tell you as well, friends. Everybody sold crypto and they did not buy on FTX or anything out here or anything down here because everybody believed 2023 was going to be a US recession to take on the world, and then Bitcoin just went up only. Okay, so everybody believed 2023 was going to be really bad, and they believed that yes, it's going to be horrible. All right, and they were wrong. The crowd was wrong. Okay, remember the crowd's yelling at stuff like, there's AI bubble right now. And the crowd's yelling at that. The crowd's yelling at just a lot of stuff. But what can you do, man? I'm just staying with the strong hands. Okay, if you're still in altcoins and everything up here, but OTHERS-btc price action, it's kind of like it is a nice little ode to let you know. By the way, we already did the Black Swan Chinese exchange cabal liquidations last month as well. So we'll see. Okay, now, so as we know, friends, Bitcoin confirming the red weekly super trend. Just clarifying out here as well. Yep, charts look garbage. Everything looks garbage. Desperately relying on liquidity. How long are we going to crack? Is it going to be a bleed out for another 12 months before they go, oh, we'll give you another rate cut? I don't know, but I'm still not getting out. I'm not getting out. That's not part. My strategy is not to get out there. My strategy, we got exotic top signals. None of them hit pretty much. You get like, the Bitcoin and Ethereum ETF and Andrew Tate launching a coin, in freaking a year and a half ago, those hitting. Actually, it's funny, more than a year and a half ago. You have those still Coinbase App Store rankings, friends, like rank 200. If I check it out right now, Coinbase App Store ranking is 259, So it peaked in March 2024. It peaked at rank 13. If you think about this cycle, never even got remotely close, even on Trump inauguration stuff. And here's another thing as well. Bitcoin, friends, on the monthly candle chart, it's so like trash as well, so I'm going to keep holding. And yes, some stats. Bitcoin current Q4 is worse than 2022. Here it is right now. So friends, this is actually before, Bitcoin's actually down worse for 2025 for our Q4 as well. It's down like 16 or 17%. In 2022, it was down 14%. That's hilarious. It's actually worse now. And 2019, it was down 13%. So, wow, friends, we are actually one of the worst performing Q4s again. Isn't it just funny? It's like we get the lowest performing upside, and then you get the worst return on the downside. It's like it's so diminishing. It's just so trash. what can you do? Obviously, you have 2018, Bitcoin dropped 42% at the end. Yeah, but Bitcoin did 100x that cycle. It went from 180 bucks up to 20 grand, and then it finishes the end of the year with a big capitulation. Yeah, so crazy. Also, Bitcoin from this cycle, 15,700. Yeah, so it's done like an 8x or something. Yeah, it's done an 8x by comparison. But, you know, markets are markets. Can't control everything. Can't control anything, actually, except how long you want to hold for. US Fed rate cut odds, friends. They are down for December. So they're going to meet December 10th. They're actually down to 45%. Okay, I reported this for you on the weekend, just showing you again. So rate cut odds are actually down 45%. I guess now they're really taking Major Loser Powell's words seriously, saying, you know, it's not a foregone. You don't have a definite conclusion. We're not cutting in December. You don't know that. And, you know, it could be, what's the N-word narrative, all people say. Maybe people will say the US Fed has PTSD from inflation. They would rather be cautious into the end of Major Loser Powell's term. He's got 5 months left, pretty much. So he doesn't want to, like, you know, start up the party or whatever early. There could be that interpretation, and they're seeing AI and NASDAQ high. It could be that coming into play. We'll see how it plays out. There's more data coming out. It's all disjointed or whatever. Who cares? Whatever. Michael Saylor writes, big week. And it was big week, friends, actually with the B. So Michael Saylor is still buying out here. Big week, right? So obviously Michael Saylor as well. Remember, he is continuously buying. But as you know, Michael Saylor buys tiny amounts on bottoms, which that's what it is. He'll buy like, you know, 5,500 BTC after it's done like 4 green weekly candles. That's when it does. And then now on dips like this, you'll see him buy like 120, you know, like 60 BTC, you know, like 48 BTC. Yeah, that's what, that's the clips. That's the clips. This is Saylor Watch out here. Wow, his average price is 74,000. Oh my gosh, friends, Michael Saylor is only up 27%. Oh my gosh, man. That's wild, man. Friends, think about it. You've invested what, like 40 to 45 billion. Okay, that's wild. 40 to 45, near 50 billion. Jeez, you're only up, what? Total 27%. Oh my gosh. Yeah, man, he bought a lot. He like compounded a lot of the buys up at like, look how big the bubbles are around here as well. Huge bubbles all the way, dragging up his average price. Jeez. All the way up there. So he will be buying more. But yeah, obviously everyone's worried about that MicroStrategy price. The MNAV is going down. Yeah, man, it's just, what do you do, man? What do you do, fans? Like, you just, you know, believe that tomorrow doesn't get better. I'm not getting out. I'm not getting out. Don't care. Send this whole industry to zero. I don't give a crap. Okay, check this out as well, friends. So we have Japan, Pokemon Island, the home of Pokemon Island. They said they're considering a 17 trillion yen stimulus. So I think that's about $110 billion. Remember, Japan is like, you know, what is it, like 1/10 the size of America or something? So it's almost like a trillion equivalent, I think. But yeah, more central banks are probably going to do it because Main Street, see, friends, they could tell by the polls, Main Street is not participating in any of this AI tech stuff. It's all the top 7 tech stocks of America. Why? Because they're networks. Okay, you know, like everything in NASDAQ, you know, Tesla and Nvidia and Dr. Google, they're all networks. So they all have a lot of money, and Facebook, they get the money. They can buy the chips and stuff, which they have. They get access to Nvidia and OpenAI, and they're gonna be the ones, okay? Not just building robots, getting the factories, using the AI, and just like improving everything out here. And the market's obviously rewarding them because they have all the users as well. They have us. They have us using it. They can offer everything, right? And obviously, yeah, they've been benefiting from it. Big. Main Street hasn't. The cost of, you know, petrol and food and just everything is too high. It's still clobbering everyone. Just to show you as well, friends, since Trump's inauguration, look how everything in crypto is down. Everything's been destroyed. Bitcoin, okay, check it out, friends. Bitcoin's down like 7%. Ethereum, like, look at this. Everything is down since his inauguration. My gosh, man. So his inauguration was sell the news. Buy when he gets elected. Sell on his inauguration. Gosh, you know. Who would have thought? Who would have thought? Like, I even knew, dude, just like we all knew. a lot of us, friends, and a lot of us knew. I know there was like this. We're all optimistic. We're like, okay, no more of the blue and purple head people. Can we like change the scene? And we did, but no, we meant change the scene as in like stop making our coins go down. Can you change that part? That's actually what we really cared about. And by the way, friends, you know, in the stock market as well, just to let you know, most of the stocks, they're down like the altcoins. As you can see by the Russell 2000 still weak, for example. It's just like the top heavy NASDAQ stuff out here. It's like you witnessing Soylana is the funny part, friends. It's like you looking at Soylana and everyone going, oh yeah, we had an alt season. The whole market wins because Soylana. But the same people who tell you that, what they tell you about Soylana? 120, 170, 250 bucks. They go, oh, yeah, you can still buy at 250 to 300 because they're going on 500. Didn't happen, okay? So they tell you too late, friends. They don't tell us before ahead of time. If they did, we'd be watching them. This is the Sol ETH ratio. Still doing this double bottom bleeding. I don't know if it's going to do double bottom here at all, actually. If you have stablecoin, super cycle, and payment rails, guess what? They're all going to be using Ethereum stuff. Check this out as well, friends. So let's read this post. See picture. So we have Hunter Horsley. I don't know who this person is, but I'll just show you this post. We talk about 4-year cycles, but the reality is that the model is based on a bygone era of crypto. Since the launch of the Bitcoin ETFs and new administration, we've entered a new market structure. New players, new dynamics, new reasons for people to buy and sell. He says, I think there's a pretty good chance that we've been in a bear market for almost 6 months now and are almost through it. The setup for crypto right now has never been stronger. I hope so. But yeah, just showing you clarifications of price actions and stuff changing out here. What do you do, man? What do you do? More news, friends. The US plans to finalize a trade deal with China before Thanksgiving. I think about literally negative 15% of people care. I don't think anybody cares at this point. Doesn't matter. You come in, you do this high volatility damage. You make us go downtrend anyway. And then when the news comes out, we're like lower than when we started, so no one cares. News doesn't matter. News just doesn't matter. Poopy. Check this out as well, friends. Elon Musk says Tesla's humanoid robot Optimus will eliminate poverty and provide universal high income for all. This is just future trillionaire talk. Overpromise, kind of underdeliver. It's going to remove if you buy my robot, right, it can do a lot of things for you. Okay? Put on your makeup, put your wig on, do your makeup, it can brush your teeth for you. You know, anything you want, it can feed you in bed, do the dishes. It's great. And that is coming in the future. But when? It's going to take a while. We're pricing in the internet in 1996. But when did the phone stuff come out? Late 2000s. So, yes, we still believe in the future. AI is changing the world. I don't think people are really... We haven't seen anything come out that's really made everyone mind blow. We know people are using it stuff. They're using it, but nothing... we want to see the shoe shine kid, friends. Where's the shoe shine kid? We want to see the shoe shine kid out at a train station telling you, hello, sir, would you like to start up an AI startup tech company with me in my garage? Some equivalent of that, some spiritual equivalent of that. We have not seen that. Right now, we just see the big AI monopolies. Okay, and speaking of that as well, friends, Warren Buffett has bought Google, which has shocked everybody. He's literally bought, when we're talking about Warren Buffett, friends, Mr. Buffett, he's bought this chart and everyone thinks, okay, he's bought the top. What's going on here? But I just want to show you Apple as well, friends. Warren Buffett bought Apple on that chart as well. Okay, and everyone thought it was done. No, it wasn't. Everyone thought, oh my gosh, it's done. And look what ended up happening here. Boom. Okay, so they did have his product market fit and everything that they're talking about as well. So, but if it does go down, he's still got plenty of cash. So make of that what you will. Okay, where to from here? Well, all we're leaning on, friends, is we're just, what we're seeing right now in the price action. The Bitcoin dominance, despite Bitcoin ruining everything, Bitcoin dominance is still weak. Okay, so this is what's actually different. That's what's different this time, okay? Bitcoin dominance is weak at the same time, the weekly SuperTrend is red. Okay, this did not happen before. Okay, in the past, when Bitcoin is starting that bear market, OTHERS-btc, it's weak. Okay, that's what happened in the past. Okay, that's why it's really, man, talk about a believer's cycle. And I've actually got it here. See that red candle, friends? That's when Bitcoin flipped red on the weekly SuperTrend. It flipped red at the top. And now it's flipped red again, okay? So look, man, you know, Ben Copen and others, friends, believe that altcoins are going to go all the way down here. They think everything's going to crash and do that again. But, you know, they did not crash when the Fed stopped QT. And they said, hey, we're stopping December. Actually, friends, it's funny. They're literally stopping in 2 weeks. Like, they're done. They're pretty much done now. Okay? So, yeah, man, it really is a believer cycle. You got to think about what's your concept of belief. I mean, I've got the candle light lit for us, but more concepts of belief, friends, just to tell you as well, like, you know, if you really believe, you got to hold even when Bitcoin looks trash. And you know what? That's never happened before in crypto. You have zero precedent. So I'm still holding. I'm still praying. Like, subscribe, belly button, all. Catch you soon.